If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 15th, 2022, and today the topic is the things you do. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Mine was kind of busy. A lot of really cool things happened yesterday. First, let me say shout out to my in-laws. My brother-in-law and my sister-in-law had their little bundle of joy, a baby girl, yesterday morning. So shout out to them. I hope all is well with baby and mommy. And yeah, man, congratulations, man. Congratulations on the new bundle of joy. So yeah, that's one thing that happened yesterday. And then also yesterday, your girl was quite busy when it came to like recording GSL. I had 2 episodes of GSL to do yesterday. And so to God be the glory that both of those went well. And amazing conversations, amazing people that you guys are going to see real soon in the future, if the Lord's will. And outside of that, I had another meeting with the gentleman. I'm helping him out with his book. So again, to God be the glory for opportunities and people to work with and things like that. And so, things are coming along and looking forward to see like the next steps regarding the gentleman and his book. So that's what my day looked like yesterday. You know, just put in the midst of that, being a mom, trying to eat and trying to rest in between all those different things that I did yesterday. So, that's what Thursday looked like for me. But here we are on this Friday morning, and I am recording a little bit later than usual, because I remember waking up to the sound of my alarm, but I probably turned it off soon as it came on, and so the next time I looked at my clock, it was like a little bit after 5, and yeah, so everything got pushed back. But I did my prayer meditation and all of that. But ultimately, this phrase, the things you do, came into my heart and mind. Um, I've been having a lot of different conversations about like choices and relationships and all this type of stuff. And so today, actually, before I started listening to my prayer meditation, I in the group Let's Be Clear, they shared this. I guess it was like an anonymous letter, you would say, of a wife in distress about her husband and infidelity and all these different things, and she just was going and telling the story. And I don't know if she was getting advice per se, but of course people are giving advice in the comments and whatnot. And I mean, I guess ultimately that was the inspiration for today in regards to the things you do. Because at the end of the day, I know I've said this before here on The Juice, but I mean, just in case whoever listening to the sound of my voice needs to hear this today, that yes, in spite of what the narrative says and in spite of what people think, our choices affect others. I know we like to think that it's my choice and it only affects me. But no, the choices that you make, each and every one of us make, they will affect someone else. Whether you agree or look at it like that or not, I mean, you have to just think about any scenario and think about a choice that you're like, okay, this is a choice that, I'm going to do for me or whatever the case is. And then try to imagine or think if this will affect someone else. In any way, like, will it affect even one other person, whatever my choice is. off the top of my head right now, let me do the experiment. Since I'm challenging y'all to do it, I'm gonna do it. So, all right. So, I mean, obviously, I can think of a lot of scenarios in life, but let's just try to take something random instead of like thinking of a specific thing from my past. To give an example, because again, I'm putting y'all on the spot, so I'm on the spot right now. So, first thing coming into my mind, food. Now, at the moment, I am hungry, right? And now I could either choose to, cook something, or I could choose to not cook something. Let's just go with that, right? So, how does that affect someone else? Well, okay. Well, I am a wife and a mother, right? So, for example, if I choose to cook something, most likely I'm going to cook enough and it's going to, my husband and my son can benefit off of that breakfast that I cook, right? But if I don't cook anything, then not only am I hungry, then but my husband and son is hungry unless somebody cooks something. There. Like that's just one example off the top of my head this morning about a choice that I can make that will affect other people. Now maybe, that may be big or small or whatever the case is, but when you think about like bigger scale things, then that will have a negative effect. Even that scenario has a negative effect when you think about it, because if I choose, for example, not to cook breakfast, then the negative effect is that, not only am I hungry still, but my son and my husband continue to be hungry, and it just goes on. So, and now my husband, he could cook something, right? But my son, who is 3, can't cook anything at the moment. You know what I mean? Even though he attempts to go and grab things on his own, I have a suspicion that he went into the fridge yesterday and got my chocolate out of there. I'll ask my husband to confirm, but I think he did it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but there you go. Like, I mean, it's cause and effect. It's That's just a one random example, y'all. But again, what the things we do will affect others. And so again, hearing and seeing this woman share her story and whatnot, it's like, how could you, on one hand, right? When we, obviously we're hearing her perspective, right? And we're hearing one side of the story. And of course, in relationships, there's two sides and everything like that. And everybody has their own feelings about whatever it is, right? But I mean, well, the Bible has plenty to say about infidelity. So let's go there. Two, when you're hearing the wife's side and hearing like how his choice has affected her and their family and everything like that, it's sad. It's sad and hurtful, and for whatever reason, for me, it makes me wonder, like, man, how and why would you not see that, man, this choice that I am making, is hurting my wife, is hurting my family. And, from there, this decide, well, maybe I shouldn't be selfish right now in my thinking. Maybe I shouldn't make this decision to do this or that, but for whatever reason, I mean, we can be very selfish as humans. We can, I guess, even if we know deep down inside right from wrong, we'll still make certain choices and stuff because, um, because we're human and, there's, we have the free will and to do whatever we want to do. And, sometimes we make those choices that may not be the best or beneficial, like the Bible says. And so, and there could be, again, plenty of reasons why people do what they do. But I mean, I guess for me today, I just want to remind all of us that, the things we do does affect other people. And yeah, so let's get into it. So Romans 8:7 says, "For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God. for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. Yeah, that's one of those effects of, leaning to our own understanding, doing things because we feel like doing it, or doing things that we quote unquote think is right without consulting the Lord to see if it is right. I know one of the ladies I spoke with yesterday kind of touched on that in regards to, because I asked her to give some advice to single people, and ultimately she, asked them to ask the question, like, is what I'm going to do going to, is what I do or what I choose to do going to honor God? Like that should be the question that we're asking ourselves and whatnot about like different things in life. And so, yeah, I mean, just one of those things to think about. And everything like that. I mean, obviously, again, if your mind is set on things of the flesh, then all of this that I'm saying may not make any sense at all to you. But if your mind is on, the will of God and things of the spirit, then you understand what I'm saying, and you understand the importance of what I'm saying. And I hope and pray that anybody listening to the sound of my voice today will be encouraged and inspired. To go deeper with that idea, and let the Lord lead and guide them in all of that. Alrighty, so so someone is commenting on YouTube, but it doesn't have anything to do with my topic at the moment, so I'm gonna keep on going. So here we go. Proverbs 3, 5 and through 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths. So, yeah, again, when we're, debating about the things that we're doing, and, it just goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. Like, at the end of the day, we got to trust in the Lord, right? We have to do things in his way. And I know that there's this narrative out here that there's, this truth, that truth, my truth, your truth. I don't really, how would I say? I don't really like, I say just believe in that, but like, play into that narrative, like I do get that there could be different perspectives of the truth. I do understand that. But I don't think that there's multiple truths. And I know that's like controversial in some ways. I know when it comes to the moral compass again. But see, that's the thing. If there's no standard, right? If there's no standard, then that means that anything goes. And so then yeah, we can get caught up in these different ideas like, okay, my what I do doesn't affect anyone else, even though we already just played out a scenario of like what I do will affect someone else. But even aside from that part, it's just the aspect of like, let's go back to what the verse is saying here. It's saying, in all your ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths. In the beginning of that verse, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. Again, we can coerce ourselves to believe that like how we feel is right and stuff. And the thing about that is that it again, like I guess you'll know again by the fruit, right? You'll know whether if the fruit is not right, then ultimately that means that the choice or whatever the sowing or whatever was done to create the fruit, it probably isn't right. So it's just one of those things again to think about and go deeper about in regards to that. But let me keep on going, y'all. Here we go. Luke 14:28. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? That verse stood out to me this morning as I was writing it down. I guess for a few reasons. It made me think about, again, like when we're making certain choices and we're doing certain things, it's like, again, we're not counting the cost of like, and thinking about the cause and effect of those situations. Now, some do count the cost and still do whatever they want to do. But I feel like we as humans, a lot of time, we don't count the cost. We don't think about, like, how is this going to affect, not only me, but those around me. And I mean, I guess today, this verse, makes me think that, this is something that we need to do. If we're not thinking about this and thinking about, again, uh, building and thinking about, like, what it's going to cost to build it and things like that, or what's going to cost to tear down, situations. Again, if I refer to the anonymous letter that I was reading this morning, did that gentleman count the cost before he made those choices to, to do those things that ultimately, again, affects not only his wife, but his children, and then the person he was dealing with, and all of that, I mean, just based on the decision, you would think that no, it doesn't seem like he thought about any of that. But on the flip side, again, it's just one of those things to think about. I'm going to keep going because I see there's a lot of movement again in the comments. And so those of you all that know the words of prayer and whatnot, please pray for your girl. Obviously, I must be doing something right in the spirit realm. So thank and praise God for that. And hey, whoever you are, that's fine. I'll acknowledge your comments after I get done with this and whatnot, because I need to focus on what the Lord has given me this morning. So here we go. Deuteronomy 30:19, it says, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curse. Therefore, choose life that you and your offspring may live. So again, those choices, yes, they're being put before me, life, death, and all those different things, blessings and curses, right? But what God has asked us to do in his word is to choose life, because not only for me, right? Not only for you, but it says that you and your offspring may live. So, that's just one of those things to think about this morning again, that, at the end of the day, again, choices are life changing. That was I shared that quote with you all before. That's a quote that has stuck out with me throughout my life, and I can totally see how, again, the things that I've decided to do has affected my life, and everything like that. And ultimately, y'all, that is the juice this morning. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired to go deeper with this, and do some more studying and whatnot. If you don't understand or agree with what I'm saying, obviously you can pray about it and read these verses for yourself, and obviously make the decision for yourself. There's plenty of verses in the Go Deeper section for you all to peruse and let marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds. But the Bible verse of today is 1 Corinthians 15:57. It says, but thanks be to God, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Just a reminder, today is Friday, so that means that there's a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show, that will be airing tonight at 7 p.m. It will be a chat with the two doctors, Dr. Elizabeth and Dr. Latanya Rainwater. And so tune in tonight to hear more about them and their Etsy shop, the ELR shop. And yeah, y'all, I thank you for those of you all that say a word for prayer for me. Again, I know there was a couple of people watching me while I was live, and I guess someone had things to say, and I'm going to address those things. So if those of you all that are listening to me on the podcast, you guys can check out the live version of this to get that sneak peek on what persecution looks like, what I'm saying, in real time, you know what I mean? But anyway, but I'm gonna let y'all go on the podcast. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, and for podcast people, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
everyone, it's your girl Miracle Sims, and you already know that your girl is now an author, and my very first publication is none other than a creation inspired by the juice. That's right, friends, you can go on Amazon.com and find the juice 30-day Bible study journal. And this, friends, I hope and pray will help you create your own Bible study experience similar to the one that your girl here shares with you every day here on God, Sex, and Love.